Today we'll be talking about forgiveness. It's a subject that I have come back to over and over as a minister, and largely because I'm always hoping it will land on me, that the forgiveness will come my way, and that also that I will become liberated by forgiving others. And that's what we'll be talking about today. There are two parts to this. Essentially, one is forgiving others, and the other one is remembering to forgive yourself. Hold on to those hurts. And those hurts are able to reverberate through our system, some of us for our whole lives. We never let go of it. But letting go of it is really what we're talking about. We're not exactly talking about the other person. We're talking about, in forgiveness, ourselves. When we're trying to forgive, we may condone what the other person did, or we may understand it in a new way, or we may never. But the freedom that forgiveness gives us is the freedom that we get it out of our system. As you probably heard before, unforgiveness is swallowing the poison, hoping the other person will die. This is obviously stupid. So the opposite of that would be wisdom, to forgive, to release yourself, release the other if it works that way for them, but to release yourself from holding this poisonous feeling of being a victim of the situation, of being at effect. Take your sense of self back, your power, your own strength in the situation by forgiving. Life wants to flow through you, wants to express in bigger and grander ways, but often it is stifled by our own limitations. And probably the most limiting thing, the one that chokes it off before it can ever get going, is unforgiveness. When we hold a grudge, when we refuse to accept someone, when they don't necessarily even ask for our forgiveness and we don't even think about giving it, these things can constrict your ability to create, to love, and to be. Anger is not really the problem. Stuffing the anger, holding on to the anger, repeating the story over and over, this is a problem. Having anger because something upsets you is pretty normal. It happens to everybody. I mean, in the Bible, it happens to Jesus even. He has anger and clears the temple. We must let that flow through us. We don't have to act on it, but let the emotion go through you so that you can have the emotion and have it be spent by you experiencing it, and then it's over. Stuffing it, repressing it, or repeating the story over and over so that you foam in it. This is what can lead to long-term damage physically and mentally. Stop the story, feel the feelings. Stop the story, feel the feelings. It's really tricky at first when you get into this practice of feeling the feelings. We often start the feelings and then we tell the story to amp it up. All we're doing is recreating the experience. As Confucius said, it's not the thing that happened to you, it's what you keep remembering that causes the problem. And this building this fire of anger inside you, frustration or sense of victimhood by telling the story over and over, this is detrimental. I want to also say that one of the places that we often get really stuck is in condemning ourselves. Sure, it's good to notice your faults and to feel what the cost of those faults are. All of us make mistakes. All of us make a lot of mistakes. Some of us are more forgiving or tolerant of ourselves, and some of us are very hypercritical. But all of us have this important things that we need to forgive. We need to find a way to come to peace with ourselves. And when we do that, it is like the life force can come flooding back through. We are actually always one with the source. And that source is what breathes and moves through us. And constrictions can make it harder for that breath to go through, make us more unhappy, make the life force diminished. But if we will practice forgiveness, I think we can begin to feel the full flow of that force. Now, to forgive, there are a couple of ways that we can go about it. You can understand the situation better, which might take a bit of investigation or putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Another way of coming to forgiveness is to recognize that we too share a common humanity, even a common proclivity to do the very thing we feel hurt by. And so if we come to this level that it is not they as other so much as the human condition that has caused this, that they are not different from us particularly. It's just that they have done something that hurt us, and we too can understand because we have the same possibility inside us. When we're just completely stumped, when investigation doesn't lead to anything but more reiteration of the pain and suffering, then I ask this of you at this time, that when that happens, that you pray, that you forgive, that you come to a state of forgiveness, that you come to a release where you can let people go, let the experience be transformed. This may take a while, or it may be instantaneous. Sometimes it is when you are sincere and you have been at it for a while and you ask, you give yourself a surrender, essentially. I can't handle this. Please do this for me. We would do well to cease all sense of victimhood, to root it out in ourselves as thoroughly as we possibly can, to ask that that virus of victimhood be removed from our consciousness, to realize that we are powerful beings, and in some ways, while it may hurt enormously, we gain power and the ability to own our world when we move from victim and leave that behind, into this flow state where the divine has an avenue through you to create a world around you that fits more of the beauty and the possibilities that this world offers. Do not be afraid to release the victim. There's more to you than that.